Wakefield is a film about a successful suburbanite commuter named Howard Wakefield, and as he is going through some sort of midlife crisis, he decides to take a perverse detour from his family life. He vanishes without a trace, yet he doesn't really disappear, he remains right there all the time. What happens is that during one evening, after coming home from work, he falls asleep in the attic of his garage, and without thinking seriously about the consequences, and based solely on a sudden and impulsive urge and idea, he remains in the attic for several months, surviving by scavenging for food at night, while at all times he secretly studies the lives of his wife, their twin teenage daughters, and their neighbors. Now, this is a very simple film based on a very simple short story, and having read the short story as well, I have to say that while I enjoyed the film, I don't think it's all that great, and I don't think the short story is all that great either, but I do think that the two complement each other fairly well, and even though despite they follow the exact same plot line, it's the exact same narrative thread, it's the exact same story, the film uses the acting talents of such great actors as Bryan Cranston and as Jennifer Garner to really flesh out these characters very well, because the short story feels much more like it reads as a sort of diary, and every character besides Wakefield feels pretty much like a non-character. They don't really have personalities. We only see them through the eyes of Wakefield. They don't really do anything to influence the plot. They don't really have personalities. And for example, Diana, Wakefield's wife, who is played by Jennifer Garner in the film, I thought was a much more compelling character because I actually thought she was a real character who actually showed emotions. I mean, we don't really get to see her talk outside of flashbacks or memories that Wakefield has of her, but we do see her show genuine emotion and genuine concern, something that in the short story I thought was lacking completely. And that was definitely something I appreciated about the film, that they did manage to take this character, his wife, and to turn her into a much more compelling and three-dimensional person in the film, and you did feel like the tension in their marriage, which was pretty much the main reason he wanted to leave or to take a break in the very first place. I thought that was something completely lacking in the short story. It's kind of a shame that they don't do that for any of the other characters as well, especially considering their twin daughters, who are completely non-existent in the film as well as in the short story. They don't do a single fucking thing. They are non-characters, and I thought that was kind of a shame. I would have wanted to see them like show a little bit more emotion, or to show some concern, or to have a chance to get to know them a little bit better, but we really don't. And I guess I kind of understand that maybe since we are seeing everything through the eyes of Wakefield, he feels like taking a break from his family. He's now realizing that he really doesn't know his daughters at all, and I guess it's normal, like when they get to that age, when they are teenagers, parents do usually say that I feel like I don't know my children. I feel like we don't have anything in common. I feel that they consider me to be an oddity, that they are ashamed of me, they don't want to talk to me. Still, I think it would have been much more interesting to have other interesting characters here as well, besides the two leads and besides the main character, who I really truly think is the only truly interesting character here. But hey, the film also does something I wasn't really a big fan of. Now, this is a film that's incredibly lighthearted. It is a drama, I guess, but it's so lighthearted that it borders on being a light comedy. It's not a thriller, it's not action-packed, but even though the film does try to make you like jump every now and then, sort of, to give you these red herrings and to think that, oh, the character is in trouble, he is about to get caught. The editing is very misleading sometimes. We see moments in which he is about to get caught, or he is caught by his wife entering the attic and discovering him, like taking a dump into a bucket, but we immediately cut back to him and we realize that, okay, it was just all in his imagination. There is another scene which really is not in his imagination. It does happen when the twins, his two daughters, almost discover him. They're about to go up to the attic, and he makes some noise and he scares them off. It's very strange. I really don't think it was needed. It's very unnecessary. It's really it proves that this film should have remained much more of a character study and should have stayed away from trying to make this very uneventful story more into something exciting. And I think the most offensive red herring the film adds on to the story is something that's also mentioned and hinted at in the short story, is that during the day before he disappears, he has an argument with his wife, during which he becomes incredibly jealous and accuses her of infidelity just for simply talking to a guy, just for simply being at a party and being overly friendly, in his point of view, in a conversation with another dude. And that same dude in the film shows up several times at the house after he disappears, and you as the spectator, and him as well, Wakefield as the character, you really start thinking that, okay, there might be something between those two after after all. It proves to be nothing there, so, again, I felt it was kind of a waste of time. What I did like about the film, more than I think I liked about the short story, is that it's kind of this fantasy in a way. It's something that I think we all imagined at some point during our lives, how it would be like to just simply disappear during one day, just simply to exit and to tear away from this existence for a while, but to still have the possibility to keep an eye on and to observe and to basically spy on the people we know. Now that's something incredibly evil to think about, in my opinion. It's something incredibly douchey to do, and no sane person would ever do this. But the film, it's presented as a sort of fantasy, and I think it works, and I think it's mostly due to Bryan Cranston and his performance, which is it's very good. And I think it proves that it takes someone like him, it takes such a talented person like him to really be able to do this, because he truly has to carry the entire film by himself. And it really takes someone who is very charismatic and be able to feed off of himself, basically, to be able to perform alone and to still be a douchebag as a character, but be very compelling and likable as a person. And I think that works. I have to applaud that about the film. But something that I really didn't like, neither about the film nor the short story, is the ending, and it's quite a shame. I guess it was kind of to be expected. Like I said, this is something incredibly lighthearted, so I was expecting it to have a lighthearted ending, but just, like the lesson he learns and the message basically of the story, to not take anything for granted, and to not take your family for granted. And he even realizes in the end, in the film at least, he says that she married the wrong man, aka him, but it's actually he is the one. It's all in his head who thinks that she married the wrong man, aka him, and it's actually he feels like he doesn't deserve her, and he realizes how great she is. And oh man, it was just, in my opinion, for me at least, it was too lighthearted, too safe, and really didn't do much for me. So there you go, folks. This film, I could kind of take it or leave it. I mean, it all depends if you are a Bryan Cranston completist, which I happen to be. I like this actor very much, and even though he has been in other films as well, which I thought weren't all that amazing, his talent always manages to elevate the material into something pretty watchable, and I think that's the case here as well. So if you're a fan of this actor, I would recommend you watch this film. If you are not, or you don't really care, probably skip it. That would be my 2 cents, folks, on this film. Thanks for watching my review. As always, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can see you later with other reviews. And until then, folks, as always, stay cool, stay awesome, and goodbye.